Okay, Greg Jennings is here. Brou, is it panic time for you and your Ravens?
I've been riding with the Ravens for 2 years. Picked them to win last year's Super Bowl. They let me down. Picked them to win this year's Super Bowl. There's growing evidence that they might let a brother down. I didn't plan on saying this. I didn't plan on going here. But I've been hinting at it for the past several weeks, maybe even longer. I'm going to try to say this as gently. I'm going to try to let them down as gently as possible.
No way.
The Ravens are not a smart football team. I had y'all. Y'all thought I was going to flip-flop.
I did.
Unlike some people on this show, I don't
flip-flop.
Tough love. I don't flip-flop. The Bears are still alive. They're still mathematically alive. They've been dumped like trash. All right, here we go, though. I'm not panicked. Panicked is too strong of a word.
Okay.
I'm concerned, worried, fretful, on edge. Yeah, I'm all that, but I'm not panicked, all right? I'm just going to say it. They look like a team that is not smart or disciplined every single week. And I always watch them, obviously. But since I've been picking them, I'm really zeroed in on them. And they just, look, I like John Harbaugh, and he's a Super Bowl winning coach. They don't look well coached. And one, they lead the league in penalties, averaging 8 a game, and yesterday they had 12. So we not only don't cut down penalties, we go hard. And how many good offensive plays, productive offensive plays did they have brought back because of a silly penalty? But more than that, they still, what are we, week 12? Don't know who they are. We watched all week, Coach Mangini was on here showing this graphic. When Derrick Henry has 20 or more carries, the Ravens are 4-0, and 3 of those teams will be in the playoffs right now. Washington, Buffalo, they smashed. Derrick Henry had 25-28 carries that game. And there was another, I can't remember what offhand.
Probably one of the Cincinnati
What other good teams? Well, no, but it was a playoff team now. So my point is, they only ran him 13 times. He has 65 yards. That's 5 yards a carry.
Yep.
And if I know and you know that Derrick Henry gets better as the game goes on, you got to live with the 2-yard run. You got to live with the 1-yard run, because you even saw it in this game. As time went on, I thought he started getting some big chunk plays. And so he didn't even carry the ball in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to get crazy over the 2-yard conversion attempt just because, 2-point. Look, would Henry have gotten it? Maybe. But at least put him in the game, because now Pittsburgh has to wonder, are we giving it to Derek Wright? You got deception. They didn't even do that.
Tomlin outfoxed him by calling a timeout, which
to see what because they wanted to do a jump pass or something like that. So look, I'm a half glass full guy. I'm gonna say a few positives. One, the kicker missed 2 field goals, and he's a question mark too now. All of a sudden, Justin Tucker. But he missed 2 field goals, and they almost won in Pittsburgh. They lost by 2. The defense, praise the Lord, the defense actually showed up. Held them to 18.6 field goals. Held them on the run, held them on the pass. Like, that was
Might
good.
Be a little pumpkin mode there.
I don't know. It could be, no doubt, because it's just 1 week, and Pittsburgh isn't the greatest offense.
He was saying Russ might have gone pumpkin mode.
But even with Russ playing well, they're not like the greatest offense in the league. But still, it was definitely an improvement from the defense. And then I think that them just looking in the mirror hopefully will help them improve.
You go, Greg, because I'm baffled.
I don't think you panic, but you mentioned they're not a smart football team. I think there's cause for concern when you think about the decision-making as it pertains to who your opponent is and how you're going to approach every opponent. I get it if you're playing Patrick Mahomes or you're playing Josh Allen, and it's like, I feel like we're going to be in a shootout. I can understand the idea of believing we got to make sure Lamar gets going. But when you are what you said with the stats of Derrick Henry, 4-0 when Derrick Henry gets 20-plus carries and all the things, like, you have got to understand who you're playing. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I get it. They've been scoring a lot of points as of late. But are you really worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers scoring a ton of points? This is a smash mouth type of a game. You got Derrick Henry for these types of games.
Yeah.
And you lose sight of what you really are. And I just believe that the idea of them talking about Lamar Jackson being the greatest player to ever be at quarterback, they are leaning so heavily into that.
They're 2 and 4 when they throw more than
well, then he should not be on atop anyone's MVP ballot. Because the other thing we heard all week.
Going into last week,
right
into Sunday, he was atop your MVP ballot.
Exactly. Right. Hold on a second. Just wait. I agree. Okay. Which is why we can't do this. Here's Lamar's stats. On pace for the greatest quarterback season ever. He finally has no holes in his game. They've done everything for him. All of it. They have weapons. And then when they lose, it's like they gave the MVP the ball too much. Guys, Brou, you did 5 minutes on the Ravens. You didn't say Lamar's name once. Can we? I don't understand why we have to be patronizing towards this athlete. It's insulting to him.
Who's patronizing toward him?
By not saying the patently obvious thing, he once again was terrible in a big spot.
He played well enough for them to win.
No, hold on.
He didn't?
Brou, no, he did not. He did not.
They lost by 2.
Hold on. Wait a second. No. Hold on. Wildes, and you were right there with him a week ago, annihilated Joe Burrow. And the deciding factor was, well, when Lamar needs a 2-point conversion, I can rely on him to go get it.
But that's specific game.
And then Lamar doesn't get it. All week long, you guys ask me, what do I think of this game? I'm like, well, Lamar stinks in big games, so I think he'll be bad.
That's not fair.
Okay.
Big game.
Here is
against Pittsburgh and Kansas City. And he ran for 122 yards and threw for nearly 300 this year against Kansas City.
Okay, Brou.
I'm just saying, keep it real, man. You want to rip him, that's fine.
Okay,
but to say big games, broad stroke is just foul.
Okay, I don't think
because Houston's playoff game last week wasn't bad. Wasn't big last
Houston's playoff game that we lay all these flowers at, where he threw for 155 yards,
2 touchdowns, passes.
So again,
I'm just saying.
Hold on,
I just want you to keep it real.
I'm just going to lay out what I think is obvious. Greg, what are as far as level of import? What are the least important games on an NFL schedule? The least important.
Probably week 1.
No, like who you're like your division games, your non-con games, your
I would say the least important are the non-conference
games. That's crazy because Lamar's the greatest non-conference quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he actually is. He's 23-1. What are the most important games? The playoff games. What are the second most important games? The games against your rival.
Yeah.
What are the third most important? No. The games against your rival. If anyone can square this and not say what we would say with every other athlete ever, he gets tight and chokes. I don't know.
Cincinnati's not a rival?
It's not your Brou, can we show the numbers, Dust? It is not your
it's
guys,
2 teams.
No, and the playoffs. It's against your hated rival, the best team in the conference, and the playoffs. It's not a little bit different. It's a full season of 4-12 football and a 75 rating, and it's that. So how can you be surprised again? With Aaron Judge, we're fine doing it. With Peyton Manning, we killed him. With Embiid, with Harden, with everyone ever. And Brou, your whole thing was, in the past, he had holes in his game.
Yeah. Okay. He had a bad game yesterday. And Pittsburgh does have his number.
And it's just coincidental.
No, Pittsburgh definitely got a good blueprint for him. Kansas City, first game of the season, I'm not saying he was Tom Brady, but he threw for 272 yards and ran for 122.
Yeah. Brou, if we were talking...
That was terrible?
Brou, he's played 11 games this year. Pittsburgh was his worst. Kansas City was his third worst. I mean, it's just...
What about Buffalo? That's not a big game?
No, it is, again...
Against Josh Allen?
It is a big-ish game. The biggest games, he's awful. I don't know how
that's... finagling
It's not finagling anything.
Because is Cincinnati a big game?
Is it as big of a...
Cincinnati's a big game.
That's a big game.
Okay, all right. Brou, so you think it's just coincidence?
No, I think Pittsburgh has his number. And I don't think he's choking. We differ on why. I don't think he's choking and he gets flustered mentally. I think Pittsburgh is a great defensive team that knows how to defend Lamar Jackson. That's what I think.
So if my hypothesis is correct.
Now, playoffs,
if in the
I'll
playoffs.
be with you. I will, if he doesn't do anything in these playoffs, then I will say, look, I'll start killing him on that. He gotta get better in the play. I even said before, he's got to get better in the playoffs. No doubt about that.
I just don't know why he gets held to a different standard than every athlete in every other sport.
It'd be great if he was just like, let's all settle down. It's Jacksonville and Mac Jones, okay, fellas? Lions favorites now to win the Super Bowl. Lions, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Brous, Ravens, and then the Steelers. Are Lions, I changed the question from the meeting.
Great.
Are Lions obviously the best team?
No. So listen, the Lions are the #1 draft pick to annihilate a bad team. They beat Dallas by 38. They beat Tennessee by 38. They beat Jacksonville by 46.
I like that.
I know you like that. I don't value that as much as some. And I respect the Lions immensely, and I think they have the best argument that they're the best team in their conference, and their conference is so much less top-heavy than the AFC. I think that's kind of what you're seeing in the odds a bit, is that the NFC feels like a clearer path for any team. But I know there's a lot of commentary on the internet about, quarterbacking's worse than it used to be. And I actually think quarterbacking, the top end of it's the best it's ever been in the history of football. I don't think you can be the best team in the league when you have a civilian at quarterback.
Come on.
Hold on. I know you're going to get mad. Just wait. Just wait. I think that Jared Goff is great when he's protected, but has a game like last week in him. He has it in him. And when you're going to be, and the whole NFC, by the way, might have civilians at quarterbacks if Stafford doesn't get back to old Stafford. All the superheroes play in the AFC. You saw 2 of them play last night. I think you saw 2 of them play in the afternoon. Lamar, you know what I mean? 29 out of 30 times is that guy. Those guys. I can't say this team with Jared Goff at quarterback is better than the Chiefs or the Bills. I can't. I won't. And so I think they're the best team in their conference right now. I think they're a good bet to make the Super Bowl. And they don't have to beat any of those superheroes at quarterbacks in the playoffs. But no, in the modern NFL, I think it's very, very difficult to win 3 straight playoff games with a guy, even if he's a good guy, at quarterback. And that's what I feel they have. You can be mad. That's my opinion on the Lions.
I'm not going to be mad. You're dead wrong. Like, what? Like, this is an organization that has completely built the way that they operate around his skill set. That is how you win games. That is how you stack success. It's not about, let's turn him into a guy that he's not. That's what bad coaches do, Wildes. This is a good program that understands Jared Goff isn't Lamar Jackson. Neither do we want him to be Lamar Jackson. He's not Jordan Love. Neither do we want him. Who he is what we need to build and protect. That is a guy that operates from the pocket. If we can protect this guy, we got a chance to be one of the best teams, if not the best team in football. That's who they are. That's what their brand is. They run the ball. They protect their quarterback. They make plays. They create turnovers every single week. You can't. Just because I agree with you. He's not a superhero, but in that offense, the way that they want him to run it, he is their superhero. He is the engine. Because if you take him out, this team doesn't operate the same. Every single week, we're going to be able to say that a quarterback has had a down week. We've seen it. We've excused Patrick Mahomes all season long, but he's had them.
Sure.
We've seen Lamar have them. We've seen Joe Burrow have it. We've seen all these quarterbacks have it. Jared Goff has it, and he doesn't have the leash.
Jared Goff's was not a down week. That wasn't
a down week.
No, I'm saying it was.
Some of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
It can be historic. It can be whatever. But do we believe that's who Jared Goff?
Well, he also won.
Exactly.
So
because do we believe that that's who he's going to be moving forward?
And he's been good. Look, he was pressured last week. He threw the 5 picks. But for the most part this year, he has been good against pressure. Look, and the Chiefs are the 2-time defending champions. They're 9-1. Obviously, you kind of have to give it to them right now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.